All right, folks, welcome back from the break. We're going to be getting into ByuN versus INnoVation coming up next in a TvT. And these two have had several times squaring off against one another, but every time has been a pretty good time, if we're going to be honest. I'm not a big fan of TvT right now, and casting is definitely better than playing it, but these two have had some pretty fun games. And I think a lot of it just comes because they know each other so well. They know their play styles so well.
Do we still not know anything about INnoVation's feelings towards ByuN? We know all about ByuN's feelings towards INnoVation.
You can always ask.
I don't think I could. INnoVation's English is really,
I was like,
really
you know,
used.
you know what I'm gonna do when he joins the live? He's gonna be like, you know, ByuN equals poop. And if he laughs or agrees, then obviously we know his feelings about ByuN.
I bet he ignores you. That's I would bet 5,000 partoofs on that.
All the partoofs. So I have some cool news, by the way, guys. I don't know if I mentioned this at the start of stream or not, but we were talking with Corsair. I've been having a lot of fun with the Bit Boss challenge, and we'll definitely advertise which day it's going to be for. But one of these end of stream loot boxes for, what do you want to call it, the boss loots, gonna have a Corsair headset available, which will be cool. I've been
a very long time. Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, and you bet before the game started, so it's not even like you're cheating for once. I'm really proud of you.
I only cheated.
No, we're not having this conversation. I can't. Last time you gave me such a headache trying to have this conversation.
I know, it was pretty funny, but I said it correctly this time. I've only ever cheated twice.
I don't know, once a cheater, always a cheater. That's how it goes, right?
Oh my god, you're so right. Oh, we're talking about the giveaway.
Hang on. DeWitt is asking for the GIF Terminator. Oh, the sexy Scarlet intro thing. We don't talk about that here, all right, DeWitt? I don't know what you're talking about. As I pat my nose gently. We're getting into game number 1 in a brand new best of 3. You guys are joining us just in time for the round of 8 here for the Olimoleague. Spawning here in the top right side of the map, we got the red Terran player, INnoVation.
On top left is the blue Terran. He is ByuN.
Yo, I just got hit with a nostalgia kick here a little bit. Not because of the players, but it's just thinking, you know, obviously we've been doing the Olimoleague for so long, and it's kind of crazy to think about just how much time we put into it. But I'm remembering back to the early days where, if you remember, like the first couple of months, you know, we really didn't have any big players. We didn't have big names like INnoVation and others competing. Back at the same time when I couldn't even pronounce the name of the tournament for the longest time either, like
a long time ago.
Long time ago. It's really awesome to see that, like, this is a game that would only otherwise be possible in the finals, but here we have it in the round of 8. Besides this, you've got possibly Hero versus Patience in a PvP, Sue versus Gumiho or Hurricane, and Alive versus Armani or Super. I mean, for a casual Tuesday tournament, like, it's awesome to see how far it's come. So, I guess a moment of applause for old Olivia. You know, she's tuning in. I know she intermittently comes and goes. But I bring it up as well to segue for that Patreon, guys. A little bit down in numbers, and I think we're falling back to a previous tier reward. But that's okay. If you guys get a couple of bucks to spare, consider checking out the Patreon for the event. One of the cool benefits, you can get a replay pack. So, for example, if you want to have your hands on ByuN and INnoVation directly, it's the only way to get your hands on them.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Unless someone wants to slip me, like, you know, a Benjamin, I might just accidentally drop my replays in a box and forget where I put them.
Yeah. I think once upon a time we could have actually made, like, not that we would have, but, like, legitimately, I think we would have made, like, a lot of money selling these replays.
Yeah. Oh, INnoVation, you're my favorite.
Hey.
He's got the Hellion skin.
Uses the Diva voice pack and has the Hellion skin.
Oh, is he using the Diva voice pack? Hang on.
He has in the past. I don't know if he's using it now.
I got vision. I'm listening. But I was just gonna say too, like, yeah, we definitely were offered money to sell replays. I would much rather just give them out at the consent of the players than sell them, though. I feel like that's such a scummy move.
Oh, it definitely is. But anyways, yeah, check out the Patreon. was gonna do something else up. I don't remember. Whatever. Anyways.
Oh, INnoVation's not using any voice pack right now.
Well, that doesn't. You have to use something.
Well, he's using the default. I mean, like
okay.
no
I was
special.
like, what does that mean? Yeah, that's what I figured. So, Hellion and Reaper does beat out what ByuN had. Is going to apply a little bit of pressure. I mean, they should go for 1 base versus 2.
Cyclone is pretty baller, but not if it gets ganged up on.
Yeah.
Oh man, am I watching the Fate of the Furious again? Listen to those engines rev! Toretto!
I don't even hear them. I was just like, what are you doing? Next to Kiro for the 100 bits. We don't talk about the Scarlet intro.
No, we don't.
We don't talk about the Scarlet emote either.
Yeah. Are you in the bathroom right now?
Questionable uses of this on the channel.
All right, so Ravens, I think it's safe to say both these two really popularized Raven play, just generally speaking. I'm not going to pretend like they're the first ones to have ever made them, but they definitely, the double Raven was INnoVation's thing. And, oh, this is going to be a little bit awkward. That can, of course, kill, but he loses high ground vision.
Yeah, that was kind of lame. This looks like too many Marines, even with an auto turret, I think. Especially against, well, considering that ByuN still has more production, right? Like, if it was ByuN attacking in INnoVation, then maybe... I know it's questionable, but of course, ByuN's still defending. INnoVation's finally finishing up his second command center and getting that second Raven, which he was probably the one who used it the most initially, and then some people like kind of took it every once in a while, but he still does it more than anyone else.
Yeah, I actually, there's a great question in chat right now coming to like, who's favored to win this? And I gotta be honest, guys, like I couldn't tell you. Like this goes back and forth between both of them so often, so frequently. Flip a coin. You're honestly best off flipping a coin to just, if you got a blind guess who wins. I like to favor ByuN a little bit. I think he likes to go a little bit outside the ordinary and really push INnoVation's buttons. Whereas INnoVation doesn't do anything super creative and super innovative despite his name.
He does occasionally. I mean, well, besides like the double Raven, but he also would do that mech. Like there's like 3 months where he was doing mech for some reason. That was innovative. But
yeah, well, I mean, what I mean to say though is like I think TvT's been figured out at this point. So you're playing what works and what does work, and that's going to be Marine tank like every single time.
I was gonna say that I think micro and risk taking works out more in TvT than another matchup, and that's what ByuN is good at. He's good at doing the risks, doing the doom drops, as well as obviously the micro part, whereas INnoVation's more about standard macro.
Ooh, auto turret's coming down a little bit late, but looks like it's not gonna be too big of a deal. The Cyclones do get to focus firing them down, but now Cyclone to Cyclone, and INnoVation doesn't have enough. Is actually get focused down pretty quickly, and ByuN, I gotta say, that was an easy hold watching those Cyclones. I think the key thing was he actually target fired down the auto turrets, and Cyclones will actually deal a ton of damage to those auto turrets.
Yeah, I would say also like, I don't know if the order of things for INnoVation were correct in the first place, but certainly ByuN doing what he did as micro, the tank already being in position and not getting caught in its dead zone really helped as well. And it did look easy, but as dedicated as that attack looked, it really wasn't. INnoVation comes away with still an okay army supply, obviously dips down a little bit as ByuN's production was faster because INnoVation went for a 3rd CC as opposed to more barracks, and he will fall behind for some time in that army. But if he's, got Vikings to the top, units to the bottom, like he shouldn't, well, he's hoping not to take any damage. This is where that micro and risk taking really comes into effect.
The big thing too is like with those Ravens alive, maybe the Vikings get a lucky hit or two, but those auto turrets would certainly stop a drop dead in his tracks. But ByuN's not heading the direction of those units. He's going straight for the natural.
Oh, he dropped on top of the tanks.
Yeah, that's my concern. You see a scan and realize that, hey, there's nothing defending these. This is an easy drop for him. He comes in perhaps a little bit shallow, so that's going to be a bit unfortunate.
That's weird.
He still takes out the tanks, though. At the end of the day, the question now is, can the auto turrets hold?
I think so, yeah. He only uses 4 SCVs as well, and some mining time on the mules, I guess. They lost 1 trip, I think.
But still, 3 tanks is 3 tanks, and that's a pretty hefty loss.
Well, ByuN lost the same amount, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, 3 for 3 in that trade.
Yeah, I agree, though. I've never... It's funny, because you rarely have to use the word shallow in StarCraft 2 to cast it.
That's probably the best way I can think to describe that. Like, that just came out a little bit too early. Had he gone straight to the deep end, he wouldn't have lost his own tanks.
I agree. It was a good use of the word.
I think a big part of it, too, was you don't expect to see INnoVation leave tanks exposed like that. He's a great player that would not make such a silly mistake. So ByuN, I'm sure there's that little bit of paranoia. You know, you're taking a test at school, you get the answer B 5 times in a row, you're like, okay, something's up. Like, something doesn't seem right here. And I kind of feel like that's a little bit what just happened.
Yeah, kind of. Vikings are in good position along with those Ravens. There's missile turrets covering the north too. INnoVation, I think, like we brought this up earlier, right? Like they know how each other play, and even though ByuN has more feelings to INnoVation than INnoVation does to ByuN, I'm sure INnoVation is very well aware of how ByuN plays, and risk-taking, doom-dropping, especially in these positions, the build orders that they would choose all reflect who they are, I believe. ByuN going for more aggression, INnoVation going for more defense, and INnoVation going for even a little bit more defense than I think most pro Terrans would want. Like, really, ideally, they'd never have to place down missile turrets. They just always know where their opponent is and have Vikings in position. But, you know, it's not always the case. So going for 2 missile turrets to the north is actually a good investment.
Someone had a sick game with stupid missile turrets recently. I'm trying to remember who that was. That Alive?
Well, Alive missile turrets are always stupid.
No, but there's that game on Autogrounds. There was like 6 missile turrets in the natural base. It was kind of like surprise, and then the whole doom drop failed.
BC Cutie against you thermal.
Yeah. Missile turrets. That's like the one time I was like, respect the missile turret.
That was just like committing to the moment in the wrong moment.
Okay, so right now INnoVation's got better upgrades, and I think ByuN knows that. So engaging on this is really difficult. The difference of not having that weapon is huge. There will be a gap in time here where he'll be on even upgrades, but INnoVation pretty much just going to stay ahead. That 2-2 is going to be a big deal later on.
Yep. The thing is that ByuN didn't even get a faster +1. Like, when INnoVation started his upgrades is around the time that ByuN started his 1, so it was pretty bad for ByuN. Now, ByuN does have a faster second factor, and he's still going to keep a little bit of an army supply lead, but it's not going to last forever, and at this point in time, I think INnoVation has successfully weathered the storm.
I didn't realize, too, just because the game had been an even worker count, but I guess with shuffling units around, taking a third later, ByuN's actually been kicking ass on income over the last 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, INnoVation has had to keep a slow roll of economy despite that faster third base. And looks like ByuN they just found a weakness.
Yeah, that ramp's going to get cut off. That means INnoVation can't go back to reinforce his own natural, but there's a lot of Marines in here already.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, and there was reinforcement of the natural. If there wasn't, that would have been pretty bad. But, you know, ByuN has to leave his tanks kind of behind here, so...
Auto turrets are also going to pose a lot of danger. ByuN can't hang around for too long. It's getting a little bit risky, too, getting really close to the range of his opponent's tanks, and INnoVation sieged up defensively in 2 different spots.
Yeah. At any point, ByuN... Well, not at any point, but it's an option to retreat and then drop, as he knows where the Vikings are, and 2 missile turrets won't stop a doom drop. This was a bit awkward, though. Not sieging that one tank, not responding quick enough. It barely saves it, though. I don't think ByuN can actually push him, like, yeah, he, Being a little overeager. Now at an even army supply. Upgrades, of course, in favor of INnoVation with his +1 vehicle weapons now finally finishing up. ByuN does still, like, with his pressure, he's getting those faster expansions, so he can lose a couple units here and there by being over-aggressive, but, oh, there's that drop the main I was talking about.
Problem is, though, it goes really badly, actually. The missile turret's going to catch some of the medevacs on the way out, and that really sucks. I mean, a big part of this was what I was throwing back to you earlier, right? The upgrades are huge, and that's a big part of why ByuN's taking such bad fights. It's not just the tank positionings, but straight up, his Marines one-on-one are going to lose to each and every one of INnoVation's. Yeah,
I believe he was down that one attack upgrade for that fight there, but it was just also, like, he didn't really take control of the ramp. INnoVation managed to get a concave, and, well, now INnoVation has the, well, he's had Viking control, so now he's going to abuse it with Liberators, so ByuN's faster double factory not really looking too great here. INnoVation takes a 20 armor supply lead. He feels confident enough with 2 center towers and a or his main base actually moving over here to start his own aggression. It might turn into a base trade. I thought ByuN actually had an idea about this. He was pulling back his tanks. Okay, now he does.
I mean, he's got to make the decision right now. The Liberators are going to be the real kingmakers here. There's no Thors, there's no Vikings, there's nothing to really zone those out, other than hoping INnoVation's out of position. So it is full-on base trade territory, guys. Ace 1, Ace 2 if you got it. But coming into the fight here, I mean, it's, again, disadvantage for ByuN.
Wow, I really like that SCV pool, actually. So 1 or 2 more shots from that tank could have been really important. But yeah, the upgrade, +2 attack is a no-go for ByuN. His +3 armor probably won't be finishing up either. But they both hold up in their main bases. ByuN has a 4th base where INnoVation obviously only has his main command center. So that's on a planetary.
Oh, I love that he's picking up and still trying to walk away. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ByuN's
both players are in a very weird spot right now.
trying to get to Vikings, and INnoVations are weak, but I'm not sure he can actually get enough. He still has minerals, still has supply. This is a very interesting base trade. Kind of stalled out, though.
Oh, tanks get dropped on. He doesn't have cover for this.
Nice. It's really not gonna work.
I don't know. He's hugging the tanks. He's focusing them down. SCVs get pulled. We'll see how that goes. Other side of the map, though, ByuN's still held up on the top of his ramp, and INnoVation's not looking for the extra bases. ByuN barely takes the fight down here. Again, upgrades like this engineering base were shut down. There's no chance in catching up to upgrades at this point.
Oh god, yeah, and INnoVation got the 3-3. INnoVation keeping his engineering base in the main base has really helped here. And that's going to be, I think, too significant of a supply lead. I mean, he has a supply lead now. He has an upgrade lead. His army's just overall better.
INnoVation...
Command center goes down, sure, about.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't have like a proper 4th base. So it was actually like both players are bleeding out the command centers. Difference is INnoVation has no chance for money at this point, really, right? Like he's gonna be dropping mules here, and that's it. ByuN could, with a planetary especially, take a fight around here, a defensive fight.
They could have roughly the same mining if INnoVation just moved to natural.
Maybe. Big problem here, though, still those upgrades. It's on ByuN's tanks. It's on ByuN's Vikings.
Yeah, he is trying to take control of that area that INnoVation previously had, and it's not a bad idea.
Look at that income, though. I mean, seriously, it's double. Like, ByuN, at some point, hypothetically, could make twice as many units as INnoVation.
At some point, he has to get on supply block, and he's not putting down supply depots. He's putting on engineering base. He wants the upgrades to continue on, which, I mean, it's smart of him to notice and realize that the game is not going to be over soon, but I don't think it's going to last, what, like 180 seconds or whatever it is for an upgrade?
+1 weapons versus +3 armor is so hard to watch in these Marines. You never see the dynamic this bad. Usually it's 2-2 versus 3-3, right? And it's not like visually noticeable, but it is so obvious how much of a problem this +1 weapons is.
I think ByuN could definitely outposition INnoVation long enough, though, that he could win the game. It is about positioning, and as opposed to straight up fights, and not just because of the armor supply, but yeah, definitely because of those upgrades.
Yeah, he's got to play tactics for sure, and he takes a pretty good fight. This is going to give the Marines the opportunity to run into this command center. SCV is going to have to get pulled to repair, but if they do, they abandon the tank. So INnoVation makes his move to come in. It looks like he'll take out the Liberator. He'll kill the tanks. ByuN's left with only badly upgraded Marines.
He looks for a 3rd base that isn't there. Good thing INnoVation never moved his natural command center.
It's a good sign, because he knows he's also not mining from it then. Sniping off the sensor towers, hoping to? Nope.
It would be a good... Alright,
oh, he catches the tanks.
Whoa, very nicely done. Oh, can't quite get to medevac. Well, it does, I guess, eventually. And that's all the tanks except 1.
But here's the thing. Badly upgraded Marines that you can make. INnoVation can't. Like, he can't actually rebuild a lot of these medevacs. He doesn't have this crazy bank. If ByuN can just produce, despite the bad upgrades, he might be able to take a brute force army fight.
And he got unsupply blocked both by losing army and building more, so that's not a worry anymore.
INnoVation.
His upgrades are on the way, but it is so far away. It's actually 157. Whatever.
Good guy INnoVation just helping him out.
Yeah, right? This is... It is a weird game here.
You know what? Actually, INnoVation doesn't have tanks. He actually cannot deal with this planetary fortress.
No,
like,
he can't.
He can deny some mining from behind the minerals, but he can't actually kill the building.
You know, the fact that he stuck around in the natural, like, what was, like, 3 minutes ago at this point in time, probably screwed him over. If he was able to kill that planetary, put them back down to even command centers, I think he would have kept his lead that he had. You know, at this point in time, he's losing it, just barely as an army supply lead, and of course the upgrades, but lost all those tanks, you know, that's a big deal, and ByuN would win the long game.
Oh, his production is about to get compromised, though, and ByuN might have all the money in the world. It won't matter if his barracks are dead, if his reactors are gone, so he's rushing back home from behind. He's actually not controlling himself very well here. This is a little bit awkward.
Yeah. Problem with tanks is that they can't respond very well, so while they're amazing defensively,
I like this positioning.
Or even if you get them in a choke, that was... I thought INnoVation was going to
this is why I like the positioning, because he knew the pickup was going to come, and this would actually cover some of that low ground, too. Whereas
Not
if he had
bad
just
at
picked up
all.
everything and gone, those wouldn't have been any use whatsoever.
Yeah. Nice idea. ByuN's going to finish up his 2-3, by the way, so only down 1 upgrade.
That's
somehow.
pretty big. That's pretty big to catch up on those upgrades. How badly he was denied by INnoVation, that's huge.
Man, he has no vision whatsoever on the right side, so he goes to respond to the marine drop, denying his minerals. And by the way, he did take a definite cut there in income because of that 4th base being denied. His entire 3rd base might just die for it. He might be entirely out of position.
I don't know. The tanks are actually in a pretty good spot. He lifts the command zone. He should be able to pull this back. I don't know if he can save the
Right, he does
SCVs.
save it. Well, maybe if they just kept it in the tank.
You
So
might-
he saves it, but he's not. He's back to 1 base mining. Like INnoVation is keeping the mining at least pretty equal, but ByuN's already kind of reaped the rewards of the mining he had for so long.
Oh, he focuses down the tank. That's so clever.
Yeah, like INnoVation can't afford tanks. Like he's only mining off of so many gas geysers are the big problem. So like if he loses medevacs, he can't
actually,
use tanks.
If ByuN pulls SCVs into this and squishes this army, this can go really well. But both players are in such delicate worker counts.
Oh, I don't like. But INnoVation must know he probably loses if it's a sandwich. Oh, God.
It's a tough spot.
Lordy.
There's not that many tanks. It's only the one. That's getting focused down. Let's not forget upgrades a bridge so he can actually take the fight.
Oh, that was probably the best thing he could have done there.
Go for the production.
No, there's just
Oh,
Marines.
well, the Marines picked off some medevacs, so that's not too bad. He gets the tank out of there alive. Army's still standing. INnoVation doesn't stop the income, but the SCVs aren't mining.
Oh, that's important. Oh, but he should have probably just ran those Marines up well, maybe not. They take an okay fight.
Upgrades are a big deal. This is
+3.
absolutely because of upgrades.
That leaves the tanks really without any
Exposed?
cover, and they're going to be really bad. But this one tank behind there takes out a lot of INnoVation Marines.
Yeah, he's kind of leapfrogging the tanks forward too, so he doesn't get too exposed. But this is still tough. Like this is him trying to bait those tanks out of INnoVation, and INnoVation takes the baits.
He does.
Problem is,
Yeah.
there's still more coming though,
This,
right?
though, against unsiege tanks.
Well, the thing is that there's still more coming. Like this was ByuN needs
funny.
Marines very, very, very badly.
It's like come down to like what described the most too, micro versus macro here. 4 tanks against whatever INnoVation can rally forward.
Right?
INnoVation, by the way, has lifted his other command center and gotten back up to 31 SCVs.
The Marines of ByuN might actually just be enough to hold this with the tanks. I don't know. The tanks are really low though. Oh my god, this is coming just so down to the wire.
That would have been worth repairing, but you know what? ByuN can't repair. He doesn't have any gas.
Oh, that's true. He's actually on 0 gas. You're right.
Oh god, that's it.
GG. Oh, what a game was. Yo, I want to go back to like when someone asked earlier who's going to win this game. This is exactly what I mean. I could not tell you who was going to win that game.
Every time they've played, their best of 3s have been really, really close.
Yeah, it's a TvT I very much look forward to. But that was an incredibly long game, guys. So we're going to quickly send out to an ad break, and when we get back, game 2 ASAP. Thanks for watching. All right, folks, we are back and getting into game number 2. That's right, game number 2. That was a very long, very crazy game number 1, but seeking out a victory. Spawning here in the bottom right, we do have the blue Terran player, none other than INnoVation.
In the top left is the red Terran. He is ByuN.
Gonna disconnect from StarCraft for a moment because we have some cat stuff going on. Zombie has set up our cat cam for the moment to show you guys Nugget. This is Zombie Grub's newest cat, Nugget. And she's being kind of super ridiculous adorable. But hey, this is kind of cute too. We got a proxy barracks setup coming down.
Yeah, I do like it. INnoVation went for the more aggressive opener last game. Kind of hard to remember considering what they ended up playing like and what they're known for playing like. So this is also out of the realm of what you would usually call INnoVation to do. And ByuN might have just done another 1-ranks expand. He's not, though. But let's see if he goes for a reactor, how quickly he goes for it.
Well, so what kills me about this, right, is like I actually would call this a bit of a wild card move out of INnoVation. ByuN is by far and away the guy I would expect to proxy of the two of them. Not to say INnoVation can't or wouldn't. It's just for me more on ByuN. So this is gonna be cool to see. First off, A, if this catches ByuN off guard, close out the series 2-0, and B, how good INnoVation is at it.
Yeah. This really is a question of ByuN's specific build order, though. Now, generally, as Terrans have learned TvT, like maybe 6 months ago, you would like build the reactor even if you're going for a 1-base build. Nowadays, like 2 Reapers is always better than 1. Hell, 3 Reapers sometimes better than 1, and you're gonna hold off on that for a long time, and that does a lot better against proxy Reapers than any of the alternatives, you know. So the faster factory for being one base is helpful. The second Reaper that he's going to make is helpful. Now the question is, does he miss micro it? That's what's going to come down to.
There is an element of getting caught too. Like INnoVation, I think just saw. I didn't check the vision in time. I think he just saw the Reaper leave, so it's gonna be a little bit awkward when his Reapers get the first shot.
That's actually a really cool position. Then I am not a cheeser myself, but I can appreciate it. That's nice by INnoVation.
So the Cyclone can hold, right? SCV's pulled 5 at a time, can delay these Reapers, but the big thing is INnoVation's pulling back, or excuse me, ByuN's pulling back to go home. He could have possibly sat in INnoVation's mineral line, but he made the choice to come home and try and defend. He knows his proxy Reapers now. It's not even a question.
Yeah, well, the first 2 probably was enough, but this actually might be too far gone already. Yeah, that one Reaper could have done a lot of damage, but if it's mismicroed for a second, the SCV surround it, and suddenly you're just down a Reaper, it's pretty brutal. Cyclone's about to pop out, and with 2 Reapers, INnoVation will have to get the heck out of there. This has
actually done a pretty substantial amount of damage already. ByuN down to 16 workers.
Yes. Yeah. And even though you proxy 2 of the barracks, there is something of a follow-up because the follow-up is more about the factory and starport production anyways in early game TvT. So that loss of barracks time isn't as brutal as it would be versus like maybe Zerg.
Yeah.
Although even then Reaper's pretty good. So this was decent. This, didn't end the game either way, but it was good.
Too many planes this morning.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Okay, well, as we see recovery come into play, the fact is ByuN's going to be down workers moving forward, regardless of whether it's going to be a command center or not. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a command center, and I kind of like this move, because by sticking up on base, going for things like Banshees and like the Cyclone Hellion attack, it might get him the kills he needs to even it out, because when you're playing from behind and you're just going to do everything INnoVation's doing to play macro, you're still going to be behind.
Yeah. Yeah, God. INnoVation going for defensive units from here on out, too, is like... I mean, it ends up being pretty perfect. He could have gone for his own Banshee and just traded out SCVs, and again, it would have gone back to, like, who micros better, but just by going for defensive units, it's going to work out really well. A little bit too defensive with the command center, I suppose, since this is on the high ground, but that's, like, neither here nor there. It's a lot faster than ByuN's.
Yeah. And of course, the faster that command center is out, the faster an orbital comes, faster mules get dropped, and the faster your income just takes off. But the Banshee contemplated staying at home to stop this. He loses a Hellion. Maybe would have been better off getting the shots. Oh no, the Reapers will catch him up as he jumps up. So that's gonna finally shut that down, which is nice. What is that? His head? That's his head. Oh my god. The Banshee floats on over. Flies on over. I'm really not sure what it is since it's underwater, but the problem is Cloak's not done. So 3 Cyclones get a lock on. Doesn't expect this. Who goes 3 Cyclones? Viking gets a shot to him. ByuN's immediately shut down.
Yeah, there wasn't any Cloak there, but it wouldn't have lasted long anyways. Raven was on the way. That was just a wasted Banshee and very unfortunate use of your starport. 3 Cyclones is also nothing to be like... well, I guess he's only going to keep him at home. Like, 3 Cyclones actually go offensive, and that's what INnoVation's doing. ByuN's going to be a little concerned about that. The Vikings on the ground, don't forget, are also pretty damn good.
Viking Cyclone, like, I'm just trying to see anything like this isn't mech play, because he's going for Stimmus to find it, but it sure looks like it.
This is actually very scary, and ByuN burns a turret really quickly.
That's bad. That's really bad. Of course, that turret would go down very quickly to Cyclones anyways, but now he's not going to waste any time getting to work on top of these units. Now, Cyclones are not firing the other Cyclones, so INnoVation's actually losing the fight. It doesn't look like it, but he's going to get shut down here.
The Vikings probably should have landed preemptively, I would say, but they wanted to kind of get the Raven, then decided they didn't want to, and that was a little bit awkward.
That was a really bad trade for INnoVation. I think if you had like picked off the Raven with it, you could have been like, oh, you know what, it's not so bad. Trade that out because those are not units you're going to be using later. But that was just not worth it. So for ByuN, like, okay, he's still down in workers. We knew this was going to be the case going forward. How badly is that affecting the income between the two? And so far, it's actually, there was a spike, obviously, but then after that's becoming more or less negligible. I think mills are really helping these players stay closer and closer to income.
Well, the biggest difference is that INnoVation has already invested into production, whereas ByuN has not. So that's where the income that he had spike up so large goes into immediately, and it really has that snowball effect. So ByuN still has a ways to go to catch up, and playing defensive is unfortunately his... not the only thing he could do. Like, if he was making medevacs right now, he could try, like, ByuN it up and just go for, like, stimless drops all over the place, but that would be a very risky thing to do. So defensive is the way to go. or he just pushes. Like this is, yeah, like you can do this, but if you play defensively, that might have been safer. As it is right now, it could turn into another wonky base trade.
I think this is going to be... There's not that many tanks out is the problem. Like, for anybody across the board. The 2 tanks, the 1 dynamic...
Oh, he pulls back. Oh, I don't know about this.
I really think he would have had an advantage attacking, I think.
It's actually super hard to tell, right? Like, Stim just gives you so much mobility. That's why I was really worried about ByuN pulling back, because he doesn't pull back very fast. INnoVation could have dropped really fast. As it is, he kind of goes to the main base, and ByuN's almost already in position.
Four Vikings. 5 Vikings. These Medivacs get shut down very quickly. Auto Turret will buy a little bit of time. I don't know about the SCV pull. Either way, I mean, he'll clean this up, though.
This ends up going pretty poorly for INnoVation, actually, and he probably would have been better off keeping those Medivacs alive.
That's 2 really bad army fights back-to-back now, which is a bit of an issue, because beforehand... Like, the lead was, okay, you got some workers over your opponent. That gives you income, so you should have army supply over your opponent. But the fact that he can't win those army fights twice now with that advantage kind of shows, like, it's just not so hot. Now, production is still very much in his favor. As we see, he's got upgrades again. That was the story of last game. It's the story of this game. INnoVation's very fast to that +1 compared to ByuN.
Yeah. And upgrades, yeah, but in terms of, like, economy and army, it's actually a complete swap, right? INnoVation's the one that's applying pressure while expanding and thus able to afford these trades, and ByuN's the one defending and slowly expanding and getting to the better upgrades. So long term, his mid-late game is going to be better, like INnoVation was last game, but for now, it's a little bit scary for him even still. But yeah, INnoVation is not taking the greatest trades. He's even going to just give up the idea of that drop that he had set up too. And he is taking map control. He should not ever be dropped as a surprise. But I guess this Raven to the left side might get some damage done. ByuN doesn't have much other use for it.
Yeah, Medivac's top side are going to run over this Marine and immediately be alerted to, like, okay, INnoVation's going to see my drops coming.
I hope ByuN remembers to get combat shields.
Oh, Jesus, does he still not have them? Oh, you're right.
Well, his stim finished like 30 seconds ago, so it's still within that realm of like, well, but he's spending his gas on other things, so I'm worried.
Well, I mean, part of that comes back down to the fact that he was kind of distracted with the opener, I think is the polite way to phrase that, right? So his game might just be a little bit off for it. We'll see. If he starts 2-2 immediately, then you know he's forgotten it.
Basically, yeah. Only 1 tank is something that is... Marines can take on, especially they were even targeted, so definitely taking on. And
it was shooting auto turret. This could be it's an SCV slaughter.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the command center could even go down. Like, INnoVation really did just take his entire army to move out.
And if he is going to try and doom drop it, I don't know how well it'll go. I mean, he's got to remember this Vikings from earlier, so he can't really just drop those in.
Here's 2 tanks. Okay. Those were at the 3rd base. I thought if they moved over, they would have been caught, but luckily for INnoVation, they were not. ByuN also does start his combat shields with 4-2-2. It still seems like it was forgotten for a little bit, but it, like, you know, whatever, at least if it's on the way. And INnoVation just, he loses about 20 SCVs, but still has the same amount of SCVs, and also knows that ByuN doesn't have a 3rd base, so he's still okay with how this worked out.
I think the way I would describe it is he's had all of his advantages stripped away from him, right? Well, maybe not if the command center dies. ByuN's going to stim it to try and save it, try and bait the fight. The tanks are back here, but the command center's not being repaired, and that's a huge loss for ByuN.
Oh, INnoVation. Damn. I mean, INnoVation's also way ahead on the 2-2-1. I think INnoVation just, I don't think he can lose. He's only down 10 army supply, so unless he gets caught in, like, a really bad tank position, I don't think there's a way he can lose. Yeah,
Medivac's full of units going down to Marines. I mean, there's mistakes that can happen for sure, but the likelihood of that is very low with how good these players are. ByuN's going to be the one out of position this time. He's just moved down his ramp. Tanks are not sieged up, so natural base in a lot of trouble, and his only choice at this point is to push. I don't think coming back is going to be worth it.
Yeah, but there's 2 sensor towers. INnoVation should never be caught off guard. His tank should always be in the right position. Vikings coming out, too, to help take care of the Medivacs. Oh, yeah, I was right. To take care of the Medivacs that ByuN might be trying to scurry around with. This is, oh god, down to 1 command center.
I mean, the reality is, like, ByuN is down in upgrades. He's got no fallback to this. He has to win the game with this push. And so far, it's not looking like that's going to go that way.
Takes a command center? Oh, so close. So close.
And he's not going to get it. Nice save out of INnoVation.
Oh, no. I don't think he can get to the main base.
Oh, it's engineering again.
right, 1 medevac was taken out. The Vikings weren't in position, but there's already units here. A counter drop as well.
I think that's it. I think that's it. He's running out of steam. Tank sets up defensively. Vikings will shut that down. GG.
Get my partus.
Oh, we got Cam coming out of game screen. What's up, Nugget?
What's up, Nugget?
New cat's best cat.
I don't think she knows her name yet.
Eventually clue in. Everyone keeps yelling at her. All right, so congratulations to INnoVation. He'll move on to the semifinals. He plays against either Patience or Hero in a TvP. Alive waits to fight against Gumiho and Sue, and this means, my God, we're not going to have a PvP finals for once.
Oh my God. It's been like 3 weeks.
I know, it feels like it's been forever. We've had a lot of subs, though, that we've missed out on, and we had the stream go down. We just kind of had to hop in to get caught up, so I'm just going to go down this list. Some people are going to be mentioned twice. Some people may have been missed entirely. I don't know. But I think we left off at Fippers. So thank you, Dotree10 for the 4 months. Gerlua2986 for 4 months. Gives a little bit of a heart. Run Amok. We got him earlier. Quasman2 says, thanks for all the fish. I love those references. 42. Zev SSN, or Zev SSN, thank you for the new sub. Glad to have you on board for the Base Trade Brigade. Mald Majat for the 4 months. KTML for the 14. Had some bits coming. Then Diocletian Zerg just recently for 37 months. Wow. Do I get a new chat icon soon? Whenever they release them, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 2 years is all there's the option for. We don't have more than that. Otherwise, we definitely make them. Also, thank you guys for the bits. Who's the current bit boss? It's going to be Megadog. Hey, Megadog. He's always here about every stream with us. Couple of bits here, couple of bits there. Glad to have you on board. Yeah, I guess we'll find out what goes on. Whichever semifinals comes up first, we'll cast. Standard practice for those who don't know is we do cast both semifinals into the finals. So we have 2 best of 3s and a best of 5 still on the menu for tonight. This morning, this evening, this afternoon, whatever part of the world you are from. But we will attend a small ad break and be back soon.